problems. It was controversial at the time and opposed by many, but now it's seen by everyone but the Tories as the right thing to do. We introduced legislation to make it easier to intervene if other banks got into trouble. Again, fought every inch of the way by the Tories. You know, they may claim to be committed to financial stability, but people should be judged on what they do, not what they say. Only last week, the Shadow Chancellor, George Osborne, claimed that the causes of the problem were not the financial markets. That comes as news to everyone else. And a year ago, the Tories were calling for complete deregulation of mortgage finance. When the whole world sees that there must be a role for a government, the Tories still appear to walk away. We believe there is a role for government to help stabilise the banking system. We've gone further by authorising the Bank of England to inject in excess of £100 billion, essential to enable the banking system here to function properly, essential for our economy, for business, for mortgage payers, for jobs. Now, all this will take time to work its way through. We are on a difficult road, and there will, I'm afraid, be bumps along the way. But I will continue to do whatever it takes to maintain financial stability, and I remain confident we will do so. And that's why last week we acted decisively to help bring together two of the biggest banks in the country, HBOS and Lloyds TSB, a merged bank which together will be stronger. We changed the competition rules to make the merger possible in the interests of financial stability. Again, a difficult decision, but also the right one. And it was right, too, that we were the first major economy to ban the speculative practice of short selling to help bring calm back to the markets. Short selling is not the prime cause of the present financial turmoil, but it has made it far worse in recent weeks by undermining confidence in financial companies. And working with other countries too, I want to improve the ways in which credit rating agencies work, ending the conflict of interests and opening up the way they work. And we're putting in place, both here in the United Kingdom and internationally, the tougher financial regulation no one can doubt that we need. That's why I will introduce a new banking reform bill in the Commons in a fortnight, strengthening the supervision of the banking system, making it easier to intervene if a bank gets into trouble, giving new powers to the regulators. We're also going to put in place measures to give added protection to savers. And I've asked the new chairman of the Financial Services Authority to review urgently what we need to do to improve the system and to ensure that we play a full role in international decision-making to design and implement a more effective, prudent system. You know, it's not a question of light-touch regulation against heavy-handed regulation. It is about effective regulation. And I can promise that wherever weaknesses are found in the financial system, whether it is in the powers of government, the Bank of England or the FSA, I will take steps to deal with it. And we do need to look as well at the culture of huge bonuses, which have distorted the way that decisions are made. Because it is essential that bonuses don't result in people being encouraged to take on more and more risk without fully understanding the damage that might be done, not just to their bank, but to the rest of us in the wider economy. You know, when I made this point at the TUC, I was accused of pandering to the unions. That's not actually an accusation which many of you think is often made against me. But I don't think the millions of families or businesses forced to pay more for loans will think I was pandering. Bonuses should encourage good long-term decisions, not short-term reckless ones. But the problems we face are also global and will require global solutions. Just as no government on its own can combat global terrorism or tackle climate change, so no government alone can put in place the right supervisory safeguards in this global economy. In the next few weeks, Gordon and I will be in the United States and Europe, working with our counterparts to put in place the measures internationally needed to prevent the mistakes and misjudgments which have caused this crisis. Now, this credit crunch, of course, has not been the only shock to have battered the world economy and hit businesses and families. We've also had to contend in this country and around the world with an extraordinary surge in food, oil and other commodity prices, caused in part by the short-term problems like bad harvests, but largely by the growing demand of countries such as China and India. It's led in the last 2 years to rises in oil prices of 60% even after the latest falls. World agricultural prices up by 40%. Wholesale gas prices by 160%. And it's pushed inflation up here and across the world. It's increased the cost of filling your car and household bills. It's causing real difficulties for families, which is why I am so determined to make sure that inflation does not become entrenched here in our economy. Inflation is too high, but over the last 10 years, thanks to the decisions we've made, it has been much lower than in the past. And the Bank of England believes it will peak soon and should fall over the next year. The price of oil is down from its summer high. There are signs, too, that crop prices are falling, which should eventually be reflected in the shops. Now, I believe that families recognise, with inflation as well as the financial crisis, that these are global problems. But they want also, and rightly, for us to do what we can to help families now. So to help with living costs, this month 22 million people on low and middle incomes will receive a £60 rebate with an extra £10 each month until April. And to help with housing, we've brought in a stamp duty holiday. We've also announced we would spend £1 billion now to help people facing repossession and to speed up the delivery of social homes. And nothing better illustrates how little the modern Tory party has changed than when we announced £1 billion to help the many over housing, they unveiled £1 billion to help a few thousand people avoid inheritance tax.